one advantage of wanting to make as much money as you can is you're always looking to make more money. So you're always looking for something else that can pay you more. I went to the Silicon Valley to make even more money, became a director in the wireless spot, learned how to raise money, Sand Hill Road relationships. By 1999, I was CEO of Samsung's first phone division.
Focus on hitting your goals in every area of your business. Remember, the universe rewards the bold. A leader has to take the risks.
We got David Meltzer here, co-founder of Sports One Marketing, former CEO of the renowned Lee Steinberg Sports Entertainment Agency. Was, by the way, the inspiration for one of my favorite movies, Jerry Maguire. How cool is that? He's also got a Amazon Prime television series, 2-Minute Drill and Office Hours, Life Mission. Check this out. 1 billion people to be inspired to be happier. And for the last 20 years, which I think this is a cool thing, weekly free trainings to empower others to be happy. And look, your mission is really or what your definition of success, David, enjoyment of consistent everyday pursuit of your potential. Tell us a little bit more about that, man. Thank you so much for being on Wealth on the Beach podcast.
Well, I appreciate it. It's funny because happiness is elusive, and part of the elusivity, not the inclusivity, but the elusivity of it is that people don't define happiness for themselves. And they first don't even understand that they already are built and born happy, healthy, wealthy, and worthy. And the paradigm shift they need to make is to clear the interference between themselves and what they already are. Instead of trying to go get happy, healthy, wealthy, and worthy, they have to shift the paradigm and realize I am. And what am I doing to interfere with it? And so to do that, we need to learn to enjoy, have a positive perspective, the consistent everyday, persistent without quit pursuit of our own potential. See, we give up so much control of what we're connected to and through by worrying about what we don't want, what's missing, what other people want for us. And then we wonder why we get what's missing, more of what's missing, what we don't want, more of what we don't want, and more of what other people want for us. And then we resent them on top of it. And those people are usually the closest people to us. So what I try to do is give really pragmatic tools, daily practices that can help people make a lot of money so that they themselves can help a lot of people and, of course, have a lot of fun. I have found that people who make a lot of money, help a lot of people, and have a lot of fun are extremely happy people.
And by the way, you said, and that was great, David. I mean, you also said that, happy people don't destroy things and, have less disease and, they don't do bad things. I used to tell people all the time, like, look, I don't find a bunch of happy, successful, wealthy people going around stealing cars in the neighborhood, right? They're just less of that, right? If we're more happy and more excited and more, positive, we're probably going to be doing better things, right? So, hey, look, before we get into a little bit more of your thought process, which is you're one of my heroes, David. You've done such an amazing job inspiring the world. And look, I want to know a little bit about your journey though, man. Where did you grow up and what did your parents do?
Yeah, so I was born in Akron, Ohio. My dad left when I was 5, true entrepreneur. And my mom was a second grade teacher. We had 6 kids. My mom, a single mom with a deadbeat dad in the 70s, not supporting us with child support. Supported us by teaching in the day and then filling up turnstiles at convenience stores with greeting cards just so we could eat. She would pack our dinner in a paper bag, put us into a back of a country squire station wagon, and make the older siblings teach the younger ones, do our homework on the road. But the interesting thing about what this period of my life that I define as not enough, because I thought that I lived in a world of not enough, a why me world instead of a try me world, was that I was super happy. And I had one mission when I was little. That was to buy my mom a house and a car. That's, to me, because I was so happy, only time there was any type of, and you mentioned this word earlier, dis-ease. See, happiness is ease, and we create dis-ease And that's what you were defining before, that happy people don't attack, they don't judge, they don't, they have ease in their life. And so once I realized, that I myself could change the circumstances through money, I attached my emotions to the other currency, the energy and motion called money, that buys what you want. And I wanted to buy my mom a house and a car. And I figured only time I wasn't happy, she was financially stressed. So I was going to reduce that stress and make it into ease, and I was going to be rich.
Well, a lot of people over your life, have you seen a lot of people that kind of get the money equation wrong, where money's bad, money's evil? It's, it's a lot like a scarcity mentality. I mean, can you touch on that a little bit?
Yeah, money is an energy. So it's what you do with your energy that makes an evaluation or a value to what you do. And so I used to believe money buys love and happiness, but what it really does is it allows you to shop, right? Shopping is a form of seeking. And so it allows us to seek what we want in a pragmatic world, the man-made construct of money, the quantitative value of a currency, an object of energy you put into the flow to get what you want. So once you realize the importance of money is the meaning that you give it, and if you give it good meaning with good reason and buy good things for good reasons and good meaning, then you're going to be more happy with the more money you have, because you're buying more good reasons and good meaning to what you want in a pragmatic world. Now, if you shop for the wrong things, for the wrong reasons, to impress people you don't like, to buy more things to be happy, different things to be happy. And if you're still not happy, buy even more things to be happy. If you do that, I promise you won't be happy. But when you utilize money in its appropriate manner as an energy, a currency, combined or reconciled with another currency, which I call faith, when you have faithful decision-making with your money, you'll be extremely happy.
So you end up getting into the sports business. How did that all come about?
Yeah, people ask me all the time, how did you end up running the most notable sports agency in the world? And if you connected the dots backwards, nobody would believe me, number one, and nobody could repeat it, number two. So it's really not that valuable. But I had a perspective of keeping my options open. One advantage of wanting to make as much money as you can is you're always looking to make more money. So you're always looking for something else that can pay you more. Well, when I graduated law school, not only did I get an oil and gas litigation opportunity, but the internet in 1992 was starting off. I got an internet sales job that paid $250,000 a year. I, utilized a bunch of the techniques that I teach people, but I made $1 million 9 months out of law school. This company sold for $3.4 billion in 1995. Not many billion-dollar companies in 95. I went to the Silicon Valley to make even more money, became a director in the wireless spot, learned how to raise money, Sand Hill Road relationships. By 1999, I was CEO of Samsung's first phone division. So I was CEO of a very, big company. And here's the funny thing. The reason Lee Steinberg hired me to be his CEO, yes, I had a law degree, never used it. I passed the bar, never used it. I played football in college, but I was an average Division III football player. So he wasn't hiring me because I went to Washington like Warren Moon or UCLA like Troy Aikman, but honestly, he hired me because of my skills and knowledge of technology related to sports, and my skills and knowledge in negotiations, my skills and knowledge as pertaining to being a customer of Lee's, because I would hire, when I was CEO of Samsung, athletes, celebrities, entertainers to do appearances, signings, speaking engagements. So I've been on the receiving side of agentry. And he especially hired me because I had a desire that he saw in me. He hired me in 48 hours of meeting for me. I never applied for the job. He offered it to me because he had lost his CEO, Jeff Morad, who had bought into the Diamondbacks and left him. He offered me the job because I had a desire that I must be what I can be. And he said to me, I can't teach that. You have the right skills, you have the right knowledge, but your desire is unsurpassed from any other individual that I've met. And I've been around the greatest celebrities, athletes, entertainers, billionaires, millionaires, and entrepreneurs, Lee told me. But what really stood out when he met me was he could tell that I had an insatiable desire that I must be what I can be.
That white hot desire that Napoleon Hill talks about, right? I mean, just it's everything. I mean, it just separates you from the masses. I'm always telling our teams, look, you have to separate yourself from the masses. And most people just aren't that inspired in life. And when you are inspired, you separate yourself from everybody else. So I got to ask you this, though. I mean, you were ahead of the wave a lot of times in your life. So what's next, man? What are you talking about next?
Well, it's interesting because I'm learning right now because there's so much going on, and I'm trying to equate the previous experiences. I haven't always been successful. I lost over $100 million in 2008, which brought extreme investment in my life of education and awareness. And so it also brought a reconciliation of persistence and patience, not just persistence. And that takes a lot of faith. But what I'm doing right now is I'm studying blockchain. I'm studying NFTs. I have heavily invested in esports. That was earlier in 2006, thanks to my son, who told me I better do it. I thought I was going to lose all my money, but great investment. So I also work with Celsius Network, the unbanking of democratization of banking, $30 billion company, crypto bank that's just killing it. They pay 10%, and they pay you every Monday, 10% a year on your money, and they pay you every Monday your interest. They've paid more interest to their savings clients than Bank of America, and they're only 30 billion as a bank, but they're incredible. So I'm looking at those types of things. I'm a picks and shovels guy. So I'm looking for the picks and shovels. I'm not particularly jumping into one NFT. I'm blessed to own a few just by working, but I'm not a prospector. I'm an investor.
Love that, man. That's so valuable. That I mean, I even look at my business. I mean, I was always kind of an early adopter about things. I was one of the first guys to have a scanner, right? And, you know, when scanners came out and cell phones came out, I said, I know something's going to be happening with this. Everybody told me I was crazy doing presentations on this iPad thing. And it's just funny looking back. I mean, it's so important to look to the future and try to get ahead of some of these waves and investments. And, you know, you're a big guy when it comes to law of attraction. I'm a big law of attraction guy. I believe in it. It means something to me, but I want you to maybe just for a couple minutes, just explain to us, how does the law of attraction really work?
Well, I have a unique perspective, and, you know, the law of attraction changed my life. When the time finally came and I was ready, after I had shunned away from the movie The Secret for so many different times, my wife told me I had to watch it, and I refused to because I was in control of my whole life. And then when I realized I was out of control in my life and my wife was going to leave me, I decided to open up my mind and maybe learn a different way to see things. Well, The Secret explained the law of attraction, but I've evolved. I'm actually in the movie Beyond the Secret, the sequel to The Secret. So my evolution of understanding is this. One, the biggest thing that people miss in the law of attraction is the law of gravity. The law of gravity is how we started the interview, with me saying I am happy, healthy, wealthy, and worthy. I'm exactly where I'm supposed to be at the right place at the perfect time. I am appreciating or adding value to where I am, which makes me grow. I'm acknowledging who and what I am by giving my life away in faith, and then I'm asking for more. That's the first step in the law of attraction. Appreciate, acknowledge, and ask. Know you're exactly where you're supposed to be at the right place at the perfect time. Know what you already are. Look to see what you're doing to interfere with your happiness, health, wealth, and worthiness. Look what you're doing to interfere with what already exists that you just have to access. So once we know the law of gravity, now comes John Assaraf, who's in the movie The Secret and Beyond the Secret with me. John Assaraf talks about the law of Goya, G-O-Y-A. Get off your ass. Right? You got to get off your ass and make it happen. So you have the law of gravity, then the law of Goya. When I say get off your ass, I mean everything you think, say, do, believe are towards that attention and intention of the coincidences that you want. See, the law of attraction is just the coinciding of the universe. It's not actually attracting anything. You're just coinciding with what already exists. If you institute the law of gravity and the law of Goya, then the law of allowance this law of attraction, I like the words law of allowance because we're accessing it. We're not really attracting it. We're just accessing it. We're clearing the interference between us and what we want. So things will coincide, called coincidences. And knowing the mathematical equation of the law of attraction is what I pay attention to, the law of gravity, what I give my intention to, think, say, do, and believe, the law of 𝐵𝐲, will create the coincidences in my life, the law of attraction or allowance. That is how I've evolved and understood and proven, by the way, because although I lost everything in 2008, I've never had more health, wealth, happiness, or worthiness in my life. And all through the law, as you would state, attraction.
Well said. And so do you think that a lot of successful people, because you've met a tremendous amount of successful people, and so without them even knowing about this law of gravity and attraction and 𝐵𝐲, I mean, do you think they're already just practicing it? Is it instinctual? Is it just something they do? I mean, can you explain that a little bit?
Great question. I'm surprised more people don't ask it. So yes, right? If the law of attraction, the formula is attention plus intention equals the coincidences you want, just because you're not aware that that's happening doesn't mean you're doing it, right? That's how I was a multimillionaire 9 months out of law school, because I was laser focused on being rich. I had the desire that I must be what I can be. So I did everything it took, and attention wise, think, say, do, and believe that I was going to be a millionaire. And I created that coincidence. But I thought that I was in control. I thought I made it happen. So there's the only nuance of people. It's either people are aware, right, which allows them to do it even more, or there's some people who will go their entire lives manifesting stuff all the time, right, that people will call lucky. They'll have everything, but they think that they did it, in the fact that they went out and got something, achieved something, instead of allowed or attracted it to themselves.
And so when you think about people, because that just kind of sums up what successful people are doing, you know, when you look at people that are always quitting all the time or putting things off or not really having that life that they thought that they wanted, what are some of the mistakes? What are they doing to, attract the success?
Yeah, it's a matter of, practicing ending fear. See, we all have an ego, and the ego is there to protect us. But what it does is it has a need to be fed, flee, fight, or fornicate. And so we create triggers of this ego that create fear, but the triggers are not what they're meant to be. So they could be the need to be right, the need to be offended, the need to be guilty, resentful, the need to worry. What's worrying? That's wishing for what you don't want. It's putting your attention and intention on the coincidences you don't want. And people don't realize that. And so what I see is that without faith, people don't practice ending fear. So when something happens, instead of stopping and breathing and reminding and remembering and recollecting what they're connected to, this great, omniscient, all-powerful, all-knowing source that loves them more than they love their own children or their parents love them. And once you have that faith that there's something bigger than you that loves you that much, then you know that this pain, setback, failure, mistake, this fear is an indicator that you're being promoted and protected, not punished. But most people that are not successful, they see it as punishment. They start focusing on what's missing, what they don't want, what other people want. They live in liability, blame, shame, and justification. No accountability, no gratitude and empathy. And when you utilize that type of understanding or perspective, you're going to end up with what you don't want. But even worse, you're accelerating the problem. So how many people get into a small argument or trigger, and then they go ahead and they know what they intended in the conversation? This is usually with a family member, by the way. So you go in with good intention to tell someone something. And then all of a sudden you have the need to be offended or the need to be right or guilty or resentful or shameful or angry or anxious or worried. And so what do? we attack, right? Because we have a need to fight, or we run, or we feed, we desperate in scarcity, we try to feed ourselves. And what do we do then? Now we're accelerating in the wrong direction, completely away from what our intention was in the conversation, which was, to heal somebody, or to, who knows what the good intention was. And we've all had these conversations where we went in to say something positive and it just spiraled and accelerated into, I hate you. I don't, I wish you were never born. This is things that people have said over missing an exit, right? I remember, because the ego-based David, the OG David, the one that needed to learn and be enlightened, I actually had a circumstance with my wife, who I adore more than any other human being. She's my savior, my love, my godsend, my soulmate. I've known her since the 4th grade, but first 7 years of my marriage, I miss an exit, blame her, right? And I get mad, and I'd end up somewhere close to, why did I ever marry you? To my dream girl. I'll tell you why. The question should be, why did she ever marry me? That's what I should have been asking, because that's really what I was trying to say, that I'm an idiot. And once you get that radical humility in your life, now you live at ease without dis-ease.
Isn't it amazing when you take full accountability and full responsibility, how it just opens up great things in your life? And so, wow, that was incredible. Man, I wish we had even longer, but hey, David, could you just tell us the dream for a second? You've been financially successful, you've traveled the world. Tell us about, just briefly, some of the fun things that you've been able to do because you're happier, because you're a little bit more wealthier. What's that been like?
Well, I travel the whole world. I have an option for anything I want to do. I don't have to do anything I don't want to do. That's freedom. And what I want to do is empower people and teach them to do the same things with their lives. I'm not the most talented, smartest, fastest, strongest human being you've ever met. But I have a very strong mindset, heart set, and hand set. I'm in control of what meaning I give to things. I'm in control of my feelings, and I'm in control of my desire, my hand set. And I want to teach people to have and live inspired in spirit, with the faith that I have. A non-religious faith, I support religion and non-religious faith, but a faith that there's something bigger than me that loves me more than I love my own children. And I want people to know that it's not that hard. There's values, there's this prioritization guide that I give people, 5 daily practices, teach you to prioritize your life. Because the difference between successful people and other people that don't have what they want is successful people know how to prioritize. When they're in activity they get paid for, they're not saying, oh, I wish I was with my family. And when they're with their family, they're not like, oh, I wish I was in the activity I get paid for. Most of the people are always, they don't know their priorities. Once you know your priorities, and I teach you how to do that, decision making is fast. You're never looking at what's missing. You have no FOMO, no fear of missing out. You have no FOPO, fear of other people's opinion. You got JOMO and JOPO, joy of missing out and joy of other people's opinion, because you have control of your mindset, heart set, and hand set. This is what I want for everyone. I'm going to empower over 1 billion people, create a collective consciousness so that people can live the life that I live. I get to go to anything that I want to go to, anytime that I want to go to. I'm living a minimum of an hour a day on my health. Anything I don't want to do, I don't do. And I'm able to empower and elevate and celebrate other people so that they can elevate and celebrate even more people.
Well, you are bringing inspiration to the world, my man. You brought inspiration to a lot of us with your book, Connected to Goodness. And if you are listening or watching, you need to go get this book right away. Forward by Warren Moon. Everybody knows who Warren Moon is. And look, I want you to reach out to David, and say, hey, I heard you, I saw you with Daniel Alonzo on Wealth on the Beach podcast, and or on YouTube, right? And so I want you to go out there and say hello, give him a little heart, give him a little love, go watch his videos, go give him some likes, go give him some comments. Just tell him that he's making a difference, because he is, and we need to recognize that. With that said, everybody, I want you to, of course, as always, dream bigger than ever. Get after it, but most importantly, do it now. God bless you. We will see you at the top.